I can do better than that.
You can make a better sandwich, 'cause your sandwiches slap.
Thank you. Today I'm taking on the ultimate challenge. I'm recreating Borough Market's most viral sandwich. Thousands of foodies travel all across the world to come to this sandwich shop. So I'm gonna show you how to make it at home, but better, in my humble opinion. So the Black Pig's 12-hour slow-cooked pork belly, it tasted good, right? You can't complain. But I'm gonna show you how to make it in 4 hours, which is still a long time, but it's gonna taste better. And I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make. So the first stage is our pork belly, so I'll be right back. So these are all the ingredients that you're gonna need for your pork belly. Wingardium Leviosa! That's a frog, 1 second. Wingardium Leviosa! Whoa! It's magic in this household. Right, so these are all the ingredients that you're gonna need for our pork belly. So 2 carrots, 2 chilies, 2 shallots, I always say that wrong, shallots, and 1 wham celery, no, this isn't a celery, this is a leek, 1 leek. So we're gonna put these in a pan and we're gonna get a nice char in them, and that's gonna be the base of our beautiful pork belly. So we're just gonna chop these up. A knife! No! Right, so we're gonna cut up our leek. All the ingredients are washed. I know you in the comments are already hating. These are all washed, these are clean, I'm clean. 1 leek. We're gonna take, do you know what? You don't need to take the end off because we're gonna be roasting all of these in a pan to get a nice char, and that's gonna be the base of our sauce. So you don't actually need to worry about taking the skin off. And this is all gonna go in our tray with a bit of liquid, a bit of sherry. It's super easy. 4 garlic cloves. I take out the skin, you don't have to, but you can see, if you get all of these ingredients just laid up, this is a very easy recipe. And yes, it might take 4 hours to cook, but you can tidy up, you can watch a film, you come back to a nice juicy pulled pork. There's a bin down here, I'm not just dropping this on the floor. No, there is. I've got to prove it to you, right? I know you don't believe me. Anyway, back to this. So carrots, again, give them a wash under the sink, but you don't need to worry about peeling them. And that is all the ingredients in terms of veg that we need, well, for the pork itself. So come with me, we're gonna fry this now. Bit of oil, and as I said, we're gonna char our veg now, and it's really important that you get a bit of color on them. This is what really brings this dish together and elevates that pork flavor at the end. So let this get hot. Just do something nice. Right, so our pan's hot now. We're gonna add our leeks. It's a lot to fit in a pan. Our shallots, not shallots as I used to call them. Carrots. It's looking a bit tricky, but it's okay, we'll make it work. Chilies, I'm quickly gonna cut on the chopping board. Add these in. 4 garlic cloves. So we need this to go nice and charred. I need to stop now because otherwise the fire alarm's gonna go off, so we'll be back in a second. So as you can see, we've got a real nice color on our veg. The chili, I can taste in my lungs already, which is great, it's what we want. I've only got this pan, so I might have to use this for a separate stock, but we're just gonna add our veg, your shallots, your garlic, your chili. And this is basically the foundation of the pork belly, right? So you needed a deep tray, and there you have it. You saw how easy that was. You wash your veg, you chop them up, you char them, bosh, first stage done. Now, the main ingredient, the pork belly. So I've dried this down overnight, which is really important. And even though we're adding liquid, this stage will really help at the end, just ensure that this is crispy, that the meat super succulent. So just add this in like so. And that is the first stage. So now all we're gonna do is add our liquids, bit of sherry. Do you mind? Bit of sherry, bit of water, and some spices. So bear with. Seasoning wise, Super simple. Coriander seeds, fennel seeds. By the way, if you haven't smelt fennel seeds before, give them a whiff. They smell beautiful. They add a nuttiness aroma. This is really what creates that beautiful aromatic smells. So when you cook this, someone's going to come downstairs and be like, what is that in the oven? It's the pork belly, mum. It's the pork belly. So good amount of salt. Like you can see, it's a generous amount. 2 big panfuls. Fennel seeds. And I kind of want to go around the edge. Quite a few bay leaves. I'd probably put, these are quite small, so 200? No, about 5 of these bay leaves. And before this is even cooked, you can really already smell those lovely spices. Coriander seeds. Nice. This is quite a small dish, so if you've got something a little bit deeper and a tiny bit bigger, probably a little bit better. Because you almost want this pork belly to be flat on the bottom of the tray. Now for my favourite part, cherry. Very sweet. So we're going to add about half a cup of this. Like so. It is Christmas. So now we're just going to fill this. We do not want to submerge it. I like to take it just below the skin line, so to about here, with cold water. This is my granddad, by the way. That's me, my sister. Perfect. So I just like to pour in one corner. And that is probably about how much water you want. So the trick is with this, low and slow, and really important, you cover it in foil. So once our tray is covered, we're going to put it in the oven at 140 for about 4 hours. We're going to let all of that pork cook essentially and become nice and cooked on a low temperature, low and slow, the best way to go. And then we're going to take it out of the oven, remove the foil, take the meat out and put it on a tray and cook it again until we get a nice, beautiful, crackling, crispy skin. So into the oven. So our pork belly's in the oven. Now it's time to do our fermented hot sauce. So if you watched last week's episode, you'll know that this viral sandwich spot, it has a famous, very red sauce. So obviously I don't know the exact ingredients or measurements, but I've got a lot of red. Can I do 3? I've got a lot of red tomatoes and veg so that we hopefully get that nice colour. I've got 7 tomatoes, 1 pepper, 2 shallots, 3 garlic cloves, ginger, thumb's worth, and these dried chilies, which are really important. So what we're going to do is we're going to rehydrate these. So we're just going to add these to the pan. You don't need any oil. So we're going to add these to the heat, like so, low heat, and these are going to start to soften. The skin that's quite hard and firm at the moment is going to become a lot less tough. And in a separate pot, we're just going to roughly cut all of this veg up, because essentially we're blitzing all of this together with some water. But we're going to cut all of this up first, add it to the pan, similarly to before, how we got all those flavours out through just cooking it in a bit of oil. We're going to do the same with our tomatoes, with our peppers. And I think this is a really important stage in any cooking. If you're doing a sauce, roast, bake, under the fire, put your veg on some type of heat rather than just going straight to blitz, because you get that smoky element, you get more flavour, and we always want that flavour packed in. Sorry, did I just do that? It's part of the brand, okay? Get used to it. Luna, can you do it with your paw? Throw an L for us. Stay, sit. Paw? Can you do a paw? Paw? I can't touch you because... Paw. I just throw... Oh, that's an L. Good girl. I can't give you food, I'm sorry. I've just given you cheese. Anyway, back to the more important. This is the main character of my show. Perfect, right, we'll come back to the veg now. That hard exterior has now become very soft. So we can actually take these off the heat now. Back on here. Give them a second to cool, and then we'll take out just this bit here of the chili. With our garlic and our ginger, just very roughly chop. Same with our shallots. Can very roughly chop everything. So I'm showing you, look how easy this is to make at home. Roughly chopping shallots. You don't need a lot of skills. I mean, I know I'm so skilled, but you don't need it. Add your shallots into the invisible bin. And now what we're gonna do is take you over to the pan, bit of oil, and we're gonna cook this veg for about 10 minutes to bring out that color, bring out that darkness. So, bit of oil in the pan. This is so annoying, only a tiny bit of oil comes out. So we need a bit of oil, probably 2 tablespoons worth of olive oil, and we're gonna let that get hot. And all of those ingredients we've just chopped, we're gonna add in here, let that cook for 10 minutes. And it's really important that we're gonna let this cook by itself before we add our chilies. Because this is already dry, we don't want it to burn. But with this, we want these flavors to come out more. Nice ginger. We're gonna add this in, cook it for 10 minutes, add a good amount of liquid, so water, and cook that for about 45 minutes. Bring in all that flavor together, blitz it, and then season at the end. And so guys, I wanted to make it as similar to the Borough Market sandwich. So they have a very kind of unique sauce that they shake over like this. So I spent ages yesterday trying to get the sauce. It was just stuck to the bottom. So this is hot now. I'm just gonna add in our veg. Like I said, we're gonna cook this for about 10 minutes. So we've been cooking our tomatoes, our peppers, our ginger, and you can really smell the aroma in the kitchen now. And you can even just see the texture of it. It's all kind of coming together. That's what we want. So you can cook that on a really high heat. We're now gonna add in our chilies. So take off the end. That was easy. Take that out. And if you don't like chili, grow up. No, you don't need to add as much chili. And now what we're gonna do is gonna bring this to a really low heat, add in this much water, maybe 600 milliliters. And we're gonna cook that for 40, 45 minutes. You actually want the liquid to kind of really absorb into that veg. So you're gonna see in 45 minutes, it's gonna really come together. We're gonna blitz it, season it, chef's kiss. Right, so we've been cooking our pork belly for 4 hours, low heat. So this is the first stage done. We're just gonna take the foil off, gently. Wow. I'm actually gonna keep all of this stock as well. So I'm gonna strain it, and you can use that for risotto, for soups, so nothing's getting wasted. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to transfer our pork onto a wire rack. Like so. Put that on here. And it's really important now that we dry our skin. Look at that smoke. And you're just gonna pat it very, very gently. We're gonna pat this, and I'm gonna show you a special trick to get perfect crackling every time. And one thing I didn't mention before, score the skin. So before you put it in the oven the first time, score the skin. Now we're gonna let this rest for about 10 minutes. And the secret is we're gonna add a splash of vinegar. And when we put it in the oven, that vinegar is gonna react with the skin, and it's gonna draw out that moisture, and that crackling is gonna come out. And there you have a lovely pork stock. Not gonna drink like that, but put it in the fridge, put it in the freezer, and you can use that for a lot of things. So as I said, my special ingredient, we've got the pork out. It's nice and succulent at the moment, but I want that crackling. I want that bite in the sandwich. So I'm just gonna drizzle a good amount of vinegar on top. And I'm just gonna dab that in. And as I said, this is going to react with the skin in the oven and that high intensive heat, and you're going to see that nice crackling form. So 220 degrees, make sure you watch it, 20-25 minutes, and then it's done. Right, so pork's in the oven, getting all nice and crispy, sauce is cooking down, and we're now going to create that famous slaw. But I'm going to add a few twists on it that I personally love in a slaw, which is a bit of sesame oil for a little bit of umami taste. I want to cut it all relatively the same way, so I'm actually going to be using a peeler. So we're probably going to be using a half of a white cabbage. What you're going to do is you're going to then put it into another half, so quarters, and this should work, but you just want to go around cabbage like so, and we're going to use about a quarter of a white cabbage. So we've got half a white cabbage grated, we've got one carrot that I've already peeled, and we're just going to do the same. Keeps it the same consistency, and it's easy. So that was really easy. So we got our grated carrot, add that all in, and don't worry, we're going to be using all of this scrap on the chopping board as well. Now our onion, so we need to obviously take the skin off. And I don't want to grate the onion, I feel like the onion's got a nice texture in itself, so I'm actually just going to finely slice the onion to add an extra depth to the slaw. You want a little bit of a bite. And we're just going to very finely, you want it nice and thin, like that. So that's that nice bite element. And with any slaw, you need a bit of acidity. Some people add vinegar. I quite like to add lemon juice. I'm going to use a whole onion. I was doing so well with being tidy, guys. What happened? I can hear my mum's voice saying, you need a bigger bowl. And you know what? She's definitely right. So I'm going to transfer this into a bigger bowl before I do anything else. So then transfer that into a bigger bowl, like so. I'm actually going to use a whole lemon juice. You guys always take the mick out of me, but a bit of coriander, give that nice vibrant green colour. I always like to bring it all together. It's a bit like how you do it with parsley. Just bring all of it together. Nice, and you don't need it too fine, like you. This is my special ingredient, as I said. Touch of sesame oil. We're going to add Kewpie mayo, about a cup's worth, and then we're just going to give it a mix and taste, because we can always add in. I'm just going to get a spoon and give that a mix. It's looking more like a carrot slaw, but it smells amazing. I'm now going to add my salt and pepper. A little bit of salt, bit of pepper. I'm just going to give it a try. Of course I think it's good. You get the acidity of the lemon, the creaminess from the mayo. That for me is perfect coleslaw. Right, so our fermented hot sauce is almost there. It's now time for my favourite condiment probably, which is truffle aioli. So we're going to keep it simple. We're going to use half a cup of Kewpie mayo, garlic, lemon, chives, a bit of truffle dust and honey. So half a cup of mayo. I'm going to use half a lemon without getting any pips, hopefully. 1 garlic clove. And then I'm going to do some chives, washed, of course. We're going to add some touch of truffle oil, tablespoon of honey, oh, you're perfect. Truffle dust, of course. Pinch of salt. Pinch of pepper. Give that a mix. See that all come together. That is so good. Wow. The honey really makes that sweetness, the spiciness, it's all going to come together. So truffle aioli, done. Right, so we've got our fermented hot tomatoey peppery sauce. You can see how all that liquid has now absorbed into our veg. So we're gonna get a really intense flavor. If it is too much, we can always add more water, but for now, we're just gonna add that all in. No waste. I'm gonna add that all in. Oh, there's always one, isn't there? And we're gonna blitz this, so 3, 2, 1. Very smooth. And that is our tomato sauce. Right, oh crap, look at all this mess. So now it's time for the taste test, which to be honest, I'm pretty scared about. So we haven't actually added any seasoning yet, but I'm just gonna give this, to me, this is quite thick already. So I'm already gonna add a little bit more water. Let's give it a little taste. Ooh. Good heat, definitely need some salt. So I'm actually gonna add a good handful of salt. And remember, we've not added any seasoning yet, so you can add whatever seasonings you like. I'm gonna give just a bit of salt, pepper, oregano, and paprika. I'd say about a tablespoon of each. 2 tablespoons. It will still taste good. Paprika, a bit more water for a smoother consistency. Back on hit, oh Christ. So I'm gonna add a whole lemon juice. And there you have your beautiful fermented hot sauce. So we've got our hot sauce, which I'm very happy with, but we've also got this liquid gold that I'm just gonna add a touch of, just to help add another element to this sauce. And as they do at Borough Market, they do that nice squirt. So I've got a bottle that we're gonna try and put this all in. So, a little bit at a time. The things I do for you guys. It's quite satisfying making your own sauce. Pretty happy with that. At least the sauce is all right. Let's have a look at that in a sec. Top. So we've got our lovely shredded pulled pork, super succulent, using the juice that it's cooked in just to help it come even more together. And we've got the crackling, and I've separated the fatty bit. I love the fattiness of the pork as well. So we're gonna use every element of the meat in this sandwich. So each bite, the ratatouille scene, I always talk about it, that's what we're doing. But I'm gonna chop our crackling, which we've now rested, into little cubes. So you're gonna hear a nice crunch. Hopefully. Fatty, crispy. On the money. There you have it, my slow cooked pulled pork sandwich. My version of Borough Market's probably most viral sandwich shop. You know when you're lost for words? That's me right now. Genuinely, super happy with how that came out. Juicy, the crispiness of the crackling, the truffle aioli, it all comes through on your hands as well. Maybe I'm gonna have to open up my own stall because that right there belavers. Be sure to stay tuned in for more guests. I wanna go to restaurants. If you're a restaurant, you wanna teach me your best selling dishes, let me know in the comments. But for now,